Susan, good afternoon. Thank you for coming through. I imagine that your phones have been ringing off the hook, various claims, because people, have been on the receiving end of some inclement weather.
Sure.
Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes, definitely. A lot of claims coming through to the company. So we, as the South African Insurance Association, we represent our non-life insurance members, and our members have been seeing a large influx of claims over the last few days because of the constant rain and flooding that has been occurring, yes.
I think about what the incident in Centurion, right? The number of cars that were swept away. Are there things that you can plan around, though, Susan, in your broad overview of the industry in which your members operate? Are there things that they're able to plan ahead for and basically almost always have it at the back of their minds that this happens and we should always be ready?
So you must remember that insurance companies deal with disasters regularly. If there's a disaster, we're going to deal with it. So they have their business plan, their continuity plans in place. As soon as they see the influx of claims starting to happen, whether it's a major disaster or over the last couple of days, it's actually been a bit slower than you would normal with like a tornado or something like that. So I would imagine they've had more time, more than 24 hours like usual. They will then have their business planning in process and say, okay, we would need to keep our lines open for longer periods of time. We can get temporary staff in. We always, I'm sure most industries do that. They call on their retirees to come in and assist them. So they have all of those plans in place for situations like this so that they are able to deal with the influx of claims that come in at times like this.
So what are the things that people who are insured, non-life insurance, so I imagine it's short-term insurance, mainly against property, usually movable property, sometimes household content. What are the things we should know in instances where there's natural phenomena that lead to a situation where I need to knock on the door of my insurance company that I've been paying so loyally for the last 3-5 years?
Okay, I think it's always important to have that information close to you. If you have an accident in your car, or in driving into a flooded area and your car gets flooded, or your roof gets blown off in storms and that, have the information closely at hand, so you're able to contact the insurance company, whether it be initially your broker, whether you deal with a broker, or direct to the insurance company itself. And they will then advise you exactly what steps to take from that. But it's always important to make sure that you maintain and you look after your possessions, because no one wants to go through those sort of experiences of losing things, whether it's your household contents, your car, the roof of your house, etc. So it's always a case of do what you can, but don't put your life at risk, because those assets can be replaced, but your life can't be.
Talk to me a bit more about the business side of things, business insurance, businesses claiming, and part of the ironical things that emerged from the flooding in Centurion, and I'm not sure if we have that picture. If we do, we'll show it. There was a picture of vehicles that belong to Outsurance. Themselves now finding themselves in that scenario where the flooding was happening and you could see the water level was actually so high that actually Outsurance itself as a business perhaps needed insurance in that particular instance. How do you deal with claims particularly relating to business? So
our member companies will have their own risk management processes in place and structures to eliminate risks. Some of them might be self-insurance, what you and I would call as like an excess or something like that. They would then have insurance as we would have insurance. They could have it. Whereas they would then go to their insurance companies over and above paying their initial portion. They would go then to insurance companies or to reinsurance. Now, reinsurance is what we call, it's insurance for insurers. So if you want to understand, say I was an insurance company, and I look at a huge company and I think if something happens, I don't want to carry that risk all by myself. I then go knocking on the door of reinsurers, and I then place part of that risk with them, and they assist me in carrying that risk, and that's how it's placed.
All right, Susan, last one from me. How much pressure are you under? The insurance industry, be it long-term insurance, short-term insurance, is under the spotlight. There have been a few incidents that have actually brought to the fore some of the practices that, consumers have questioned. The latest, of course, being that incident in KwaZulu-Natal around Old Mutual. I imagine that this has put you on high alert as to your criteria for processing claims, criteria for rejecting claims. Are these incidents leading to, I don't know, a more empathetic approach, a more understanding approach, more humane, some would say, approach on the side of your members?
Our members always look at their claims individually, and each claim is dealt with on its own merits. We carefully assess information with regards to each claim. Yes, we're very aware of certain instances that put our names in the limelight, and we address those, and we're very conscious of the effect that it has on the member of the public. Our business is to put a person back into their original position and assist them and alleviate any hardship caused during a traumatic experience or something like that. So our members are very aware and will do anything that they can to assist the person to settle their claim.
All right, Susan, thank you so much for coming through and sharing your insights there. That's Susan Wells from the South African Insurance Association. We've been talking about the situation in as far as the claims that are surely piling up following recent rains in Gauteng are concerned.